And welcome to another episode of the Don't Argue with the Facts podcast. I'm your host, Noah Love, and today we are going to be talking about the round of 32 slash the Sweet 16. The round of 32 is in the books. My first round of 32 video is already up from Saturday. I posted it though on Sunday morning. Go check it out on the page. After this one, it'll be the second latest, or I'll just put a link in the description so y'all can go watch that. But let's talk about Sunday's NCAA tournament games. Sunday was a good slate in terms of the NCAA tournament and advancing to the round of 32. Purdue. Let's start here. Purdue beats Miami 79-69. They will advance to take on Texas in the Sweet 16. Purdue in this game, I thought the loss of CJ Cox is here because assuming the way the injury looked, I don't think he's going to play against Texas, but right, you never know. He limped off the floor after an apparent knee injury, but up to that point, he looked like a flamethrower. 11 points. He was 4-5, 3 or 4 from 3. He had it rolling. Fletcher Loyer, 24 points on 7 shots. 4-4 for 3. Loyer was really feeling it. He was obviously the unsung hero of the game. They were able to win the game where Braden Smith did not play as well as you're accustomed to him playing. I mean, he had 12 points, 8 assists, but had 8 turnovers. He was responsible for 8 of the 12 turnovers. That's not obviously good enough. Or it's not going to be good enough when you get into these later rounds of the NCAA tournament. I thought, obviously, Purdue played some guys off the bench. They only have 5 bench points. I really thought the key in this game was they were able to hold Donaldson of Miami to 4-15 shooting. I think when Trey Donaldson plays well, Miami's a different animal. Obviously, I think it was a great season for Miami. They're going to finish at 26-9. I think Jai Lucas, there's a lot to build off of for this season. I thought in the game, only 5 of 19 from 3. Gotta hit more threes if you want to beat this Purdue team. Because Purdue, I don't even think they were at their best in this game, and they still won by 10 points. So I thought defensively they were able to lock it down in the second half. You got to give them a lot of credit for that. But overall, just a very good performance by the Boilers. The Canes, tough into the season. Purdue and Texas, early thoughts on that. Obviously the Cam Heide, he's going to be playing against Texas. It's going to be about the guards. I think Volkatitis versus Clough will be an interesting matchup down low. But it's going to be about the guards. Mark, Smith, Weaver, Loyer. It is that game is 100% going to come down to how good are the guards in that basketball game. And that's what it's going to come down to. And with that, and also the Sean Miller, Matt Painter, that would be a great coaching matchup. But again, when you get to this stage in the tournament, it obviously comes down to great coaching and all that, but it's also going to come down to your guards. So That'll be an interesting matchup in that 2 versus 11 now. In the Sweet 16, winner advances to the Elite Eight. It'll be one win away from the Final Four. Now, let's go to Iowa State here. We'll go quickly here for this game. Iowa State and Kentucky. First half was not pretty. Iowa State without Joshua Jefferson, their best player. You can make that argument. They were up one at the half after playing the worst half of basketball I've seen from them in a couple of games. And as soon as I saw that, I said, they're gonna win this game. And they're gonna win it going away. Like, Kentucky was not gonna be able to stay with them. And then on top of that, the turnovers. The on ball, the pressure defense of Iowa State. Kentucky turned it over 20 times. You're not winning an NCAA tournament game, turning the ball over 20 times. That just it just doesn't happen, especially against a team like Iowa State that when you make mistakes, they get out in transition, they get fast break opportunities, they love that trailing Momcilovic 3. I mean, Iowa State is a heck of a performance. Jefferson only has a sprained ankle, so that's good. But you got Iowa State fans hashtag feel like it feels like 44. What that means is, I guess it feels like 1944. If they could go to the Final Four, it would be the first time going to the Final Four since 1944. If they could pull this off in that Midwest region. Look, very good performance. Won't be easy. Obviously, they are going to be facing the Tennessee Volunteers, and that's going to be a whale of a ball game. I'm talking the physicality in that ball game. It's going to be off the charts. From a big perspective, and I mean for guard perspective, because both of these teams, they get up in you and they guard. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. Speaking of Tennessee, we'll go there. Just slide it in. Tennessee defeats Virginia in Philadelphia 79-72. Tennessee ball game. Jacoby Gillespie played well in this ball game. They advance. Obviously, they're going to be taking on Iowa State. The reason I felt like Tennessee was able to win this game is just their ability to guard. Virginia's a very good shooting team. You hold them to 39% from the field. Virginia was 12 for 35 from 3, sure, but you hold a team defensively to under 40%, and then you shoot a better percentage from 3 and from the field, you're going to win a lot of those games. They also were able to out-rebound Virginia as well. So this was a tight game throughout. Honestly, Tennessee's ability to go to the free throw line, hit free throws, I thought was key. Obviously, the rebounding, you knew that outpowered did better in the paint. Tennessee, they just controlled this game, and this game was played on Tennessee's terms. And I think that's what it came down to. And because of that, it's a 4 straight Sweet 16 for Rick Barnes. That's what it is. It's honestly an incredible feat. And you have to ask yourself, with the talent this team has, is this the year it could break through and get to the first ever Final Four? We shall see, but I just thought this was a heck of a performance by Tennessee. Tennessee, they should have a better record than what they do. I think that's been on display so far in this tournament. I think you've watched them and they've blown some games where you just go, at the end of the game, they turn it over or something. It just goes like, what are we doing? I thought, obviously, Tennessee, they deserved to win that basketball game, and they did. Uh, Tough ending for Virginia, 30-win season. Ryan Odom has this program going in the right direction. I mean, you win 30 games, all right. You were the second best team in the conference pretty much all year. Uh you are It's obviously a different brand of basketball in terms of the stretch five, stretch you out. It's not as defensive, move the ball, shoot a lot of threes, pace and space. So it's not as like obviously it's not like the Tony Bennett system, but it does help winning. And I think Virginia, Ryan Odom's a heck of a ball coach. They're going to be good. But Tennessee advances to their fourth straight Sweet 16. They'll be taking on Virginia. They'll be taking on Iowa State. And we talked about it. That's going to be a heck of a ball game with the both of the way those teams guard. Obviously, the status of Jefferson, I don't know. We'll see if he plays or not. That's obviously going to be the big thing. Uh let's get to here. S- Let's get to here. I'm going to go through a couple of these last games quick. I was going to go to St. John's in Kansas, but then let's just get this out the way. Bama and Texas Tech. Bama destroys Texas Tech 90-65. Bama was just on fire. They jumped on Texas Tech, and that was all she wrote. They'll advance to face Michigan in the Sweet 16 in Chicago without Aiden Holloway. Alabama does this. I mean, truthfully, you just got to tip your cap. You just have to tip your cap. Right Cell was great with 24 in a night where Phylon struggled. He was 2 of 12. They still were able to win by 35 points. Or excuse me, by 25 points. Incredible. They obviously got contributions from the bench. They went 19 of 42 from three. And then defensively, they were able to hold Texas Tech under 35% shooting, and Texas Tech only shot 16% from three. It was just a heck of a performance. Now that they have to go to face Michigan. And that's going to be a tall task because of the Michigan bigs. Now, I personally don't think their bigs obviously are good enough to hang with Michigan, obviously. But I think the guard play in this tournament, in a one game scenario, I think for Alabama, if their guards can play similar to what they've played in this tournament and what they've played pretty much for the second half of the season, I think if they're able to make enough threes, they have a chance. They have a chance. But we'll see. Look, they're going to have a heck of an effort to beat that Michigan team because Michigan, they're just going to get whatever they want inside. I mean, I could just tell you that now. If they don't, I'll be stunned. I'll be stunned. And if they don't, they probably lose because I don't think in a 3-point shooting battle, you Michigan is beating Bama. I just don't believe that. So obviously, Michigan's going to have to impose their will on the game there. But if they don't, could be some trouble in that game. Also, UConn beats UCLA. They will go on to face Michigan State on Friday night in DC. That East Sweet 16 is going to be cinematic. Uh, UConn won, but I have some concerns. My main concern is Solo Ball and just his he can't throw it in the ocean right now. I know they got the lift from the freshman Mullins, but Ball, he can't throw it in the ocean, and he's supposed to be their best guard and a seam lane guard. So I don't know what his. It may just be a slump, but it's a bad time to have a slump. Maybe this extra almost week get him ready to go in DC, but I think their guard play is going to have to be better. I think the guard play is going to have to be really better. I think for UConn, obviously Terrace Reed is going to be a big key in that basketball game. I also believe that against those Michigan State bigs, their the ability to step out on the floor, Kohler can. It's just going to be a very interesting matchup, and also you got Hurley and Izzo. I mean, come on. UCLA, Donovan Dent. Like, Donovan Dent, where you're able to shut down Donovan Dent and they're only go 2 for 9 in that basketball game, I think that's obviously a recipe for disaster if you're UCLA. UConn, that's great for them. They were able to shut it down. No Bilodeau through this last run, and they really could have used him. His ability to obviously get it in the post, but he's very good at stretching the floor. I mean, look, Cronin squad here, they were a very good ball club. Just ran into UConn, not good offensively, not great offensively. It's his second year in a row he gets bounced in the round of 32. It's tough. UConn, heck of a game, heck of a win. Now I do have my concerns about their guards because I'm gonna be honest. If their guards do not play well against Michigan State, they will get beat. They just will get beat. And obviously the depth is going to be a big thing for both teams to bench in that basketball game. But yeah, UConn, they did UConn things, and Dan Hurley has his team in another Sweet 16, and it's incredible. It's incredible what he's been. It's incredible what he has been able to build there. And it took him a minute. Took him a minute to get it rolling, but he got it rolling. Now let's go to Arizona and Utah State here. Arizona will advance. They beat Utah State to take on Arkansas in the Sweet 16. I just got to say this about Arizona. This is probably the worst game they may have played all season, and they still won by 12. And they still convincingly won. Like, this may have been the worst game they played all season. I'm not even saying that as a guy who picked them to win the national championship, even though I did. That's not where this was coming from. I don't think they shot well. I think their defense was pretty good. I thought at times they got stagnant. I really just think their their inability to make shots really in the first half, because they got up early, but then Utah State, props to them, they kept fighting and fighting to get back. You got to give Utah State really all the credit in the world. But I just think of that basketball game, Arizona could have and should have played better. And so now Tommy Lloyd, he's probably going to get on his team about that. And they're going to be facing an Arkansas team that is a really good basketball team. Darius Acuff is going to be really good. To me, what that game's going to come down to is the bench. The bench. The bench is going to be a big key because Arkansas only goes like 6 deep, and Arizona could go 8 deep. And those 8 guys, this is like, oh, we just bodies to put in. They have 8 guys that can. Del Rosso can go get it. Toby Awaka's very good body that can be a double guy. Like, they've got 8 guys that can play. And then I don't think Jaden Bradley's going to shoot as bad. Obviously, Burries, I mean, it's very good. They can play big, obviously, if they want to put Pete at the 3 at times and go with Krivas and Waka. They can do that. To me, Krivas, double in this game, he's really the guy that gives them tremendous versatility. Uh, he's really a guy that gives them tremendous versatility, and so that's going to be a heck of a basketball game. On, I believe it's either Thursday or Friday. I'm really excited to watch that game because I believe Arkansas. It would take a lot, but if Acuff goes nuts, which he has a chance, but Arizona, tough, heck of a basketball team. But they did not play well, I thought, in this game, and they only won by 12. And they won by 12. That's kind of scary. Now, we're just going to stay in the West region because this game was crazy. St. John's versus Kansas. St. John's party like it's 1999 because they're going to the Sweet 16 off a Dylan Darling layup. Darling, who hadn't scored a bucket in this basketball game, goes and gets the game-winning layup to send the Red Storm over the edge. Wow. Wow is all I can say. Wow. To me, the reason St. John's won this game, obviously outside of the defense, 16 turnovers for the Jayhawks. I believe Bryce Hopkins, him hitting 6 threes and him giving them the lead early. To me, this game shouldn't have even been as close as it was. I feel like St. John's, they were in control of that basketball game for a majority of it. And they, I think it might have been with 5-6 minutes to go. Kansas is down 13, and you got to give Bill Self Group a lot of credit. They did not wilt. They stayed in it. They stayed in it. They stayed with it. And they were able to come back there. I obviously thought Kansas, these two teams, it felt like a heavyweight fight at times. Obviously, it was ugly in the first minutes. I said it before and I said it again. I think the difference in St. John's last year and St. John's this year, they defend and they're not a great 3-point shooting team. But this is a team that's not going like 2 for 25 from 3. They hit 11 threes in the game. They were 11 of 35. Just the ability to hit the 3. You obviously got Zuby's down there. He's tough. Dylan Mitchell, to me, obviously he's got to get more of an outside game, but the way he's so athletic, plays hard, his defense, his IQ, loved him in this game. I thought they did a pretty decent job on Peterson. I know Peterson hit too early and you went, uh-oh. But then after that, they were really able to hold him in check. Yeah, he had 21 points, but he was 5-15 and 3 of 8. You'll take that. Look, I know Kansas, it was a heartbreaking one, but St. John's was the better team all day. St. John's was the better team, and they deserved to win that basketball game, and they did. I think the way St. John's guards is going to be problematic. Obviously, for Kansas now, it's about Bill Self. What does he want to do? Does he want to retire? Does he want to return? Obviously, they're going to have to replace Darren Peterson. That's a big loss. But overall, I do think if Self returns, Kansas will be good. Kansas will probably be right back here next year. For St. John's, they now go to DC in the Sweet 16. And, Izzo, Hurley, Patino, Shire. I mean, you got Shire, who's the young up and coming giant, just sleeping giant in terms of coaching, and you got Hurley, who's the now, and then you got two guys that are still great at what they do, legends of the game, Izzo and Patino. I mean, man, Washington D.C., you're gonna love it. In terms of the actual game of St. John's versus Duke, I do think the ability for St. John's to guard is very gonna make it tough on Duke. I don't know what Caleb Foster's status is. St. John's, I think they have a chance to upset Duke because this is a game that to me will be low scoring because both of these teams guard their butts off. They guard Duke guards and St. John's guards. And St. John's, I mean, Patino, that ball pressure, he'll probably press. I mean, there was even 3 or 4 times in this basketball game. Kansas can't even get the ball in bounds. Like, that's how tough it was. So St. John's, man, they're gonna bring the force. Cam Boozers, I don't know if he's gonna be able to move Zuby. I mean, Zuby just a force inside. But it's going to be a heck of a basketball game, and I'm excited to watch it. Now, let's go to Iowa and Florida. Iowa pulls off the shocker, probably the shocker of the entire tournament, to upset the defending national champions, Florida, the Florida Gators, the 1 seed. Florida is gone. Iowa, their first Sweet 16 since 1999 as well. They will take on Nebraska for part three of that for a chance to go into the Elite Eight. Iowa deserves to win that game. They were the better team. They're up. The fact that they were able to keep it even on the glass with Florida, and the fact that Bennett Sturge did not have a great statistical shooting game, in that Iowa was able to win, is fantastic. That it's Ben McCollum was outcoached Todd Golden by far. I said from a talent perspective, Iowa may have not been able to stay on the floor with those Florida guys and those Florida bigs. I think the key guy, Chinyulu, no points, 1 rebounds, 4 fouls, 19 minutes, can't happen. He's very much improved. Whole front court's probably going to NBA. It can't happen. Uh, I thought Condon and Houck still got whatever they wanted. But on that last, I know everybody's talking about the last possession. We know it was a dumb decision to press because, okay, if you're going to act like you're going to press, but then when they get the ball in bounds, back off and make them shoot over the top of you. Now they run like a screen where Sturge can get it coming across, and that Florida defender's behind him. And once he's behind him, all hell breaks loose. All hell breaks loose. He drives in. Sturge is going to make the right decision every single time. Goes to Fergaris. Fergaris quarter three. Onions. Straight onions. Like the great Bill Raftery says, and Iowa pulls it off. Iowa won this game because Ben McCollum just outcoached Todd Golden in every facet of the game. No question about it. It was truly unbelievable. And this is what Ben McCollum has done. He wins. He's won. He won at the D2 level. He won at Drake, and he gets here with Iowa, with a team that's probably, from a talent perspective, one of the lesser talented teams in the last 16. But they're going because I do think Bennett Sturts is a stud, but they're also going because Ben McCollum is a heck of a basketball coach, and he showed it on display in this game. There's so many. Iowa outplayed Florida, and they earned the right to win that game. They outplayed them in every facet. They led that game probably about 85%. Absolutely, it's a stunner, but it's absolutely unbelievable. But when you don't impose your will in the paint, which I thought was Florida's advantage, you can get got like that. And that's what happened here. All right, everybody, this has been an episode of the Don't Argue with the Facts podcast, round of 32 edition, Sweet 16. More in depth preview will be up to probably tomorrow. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until the next time, see ya.